throughout this course, we're going to learn various functions of using Microsoft Access, the various tools that are available that will make your database more efficient and it will make your work more quicker. There are various sections or various sessions we are going to go through in order to learn those advanced functions. In this very first video, what we're going to see is how to create a table using application parts. Now, when you're ready to make your first table, you can either build it right from scratch or you could use application parts as a starting point. You can even save your own application parts for future use. So what we're going to do is we'll create a first table and we will use the application parts tool. Where do we find the application parts? We need to go under this create tab, wherein you will find application parts over here on the left hand side, and we click on this. Now here there are various pre-created database templates. Some include not only tables but also combinations of forms, tables and reports as well. We're going to use this contacts. We're going to use this contacts table, the contacts template over here. So this is what we're going to use. Let's click on it. Okay, so now we have this contacts table which has a table contacts, it has queries, it has 3 forms, 4 reports. So now we are not going to be using most of these, so we are going to focus only on this one table, that is the contacts table that we have. Okay, so let's start deleting the other objects. To delete the objects, I could click on it, I could right click and then delete. Because there are various objects over here, what you can do is you can click over here and using the shift key you could click the very last object and hit delete key, and it will ask whether you want to delete those modules and you could say yes. So now with this, all the other objects have been deleted from the group and you can't undo this. Okay, so that's fine, we didn't want it anyways. So now I want to rename this contacts and I'm going to call it as customers. Okay, I want this table to be called as customers, so we have now renamed it and chose to be called it as customers. Now let's open it, but for opening it you just need to double click and you can see that there are various fields that are put in over here. Yeah, there are various fields available for you. Most of these are going to be useful for us, but there are many that you won't use. So I'm going to use this as a tool to show you how the fields work. Now this first is the ID field. Okay, and click up here where it says the table tools, and when you see this fields option over here, you can see the data type is an auto number, and auto number acts like a counter. It starts with 1 and every time you add a customer to it, it will automatically increase to 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So I don't have to type anything in myself. And also note that it is not an accurate count of how many records I have in the database, because if I delete say record number 14 for example, the counter would go 12, 13, 15. Since 14 was deleted, that will not appear, but then the number would not change. The numbers do not get reused, so you need to remember that. Let's look at all our fields. So far we have seen what is an auto number, and if you look at this company, you will see that the data type is text, right? We're going to put in the company's name, so it will be text. Let's talk about a couple more of them. So when it comes to the email address, okay, email address will again be a text. Then we have the job title. Okay, the zip code is going to be text field, even though it is made up of numbers. It's not because you don't do calculations on zip codes. You don't add your zip and another person's zip code and then together you make a third location, right? The number data type is used for things that you have to add, subtract, multiply and divide, like quantities, right? So this zip code is going to be a text code. Let's look at a couple more over here. We have this web page which will be a hyperlink. Okay, web page is a hyperlink data type. Hyperlinks are either for internet URLs or for email addresses. Then we can move across to the fields using the tab key on your keyboard. Now this is notes. This is, if you see the notice, the data type, it is a memo which allows you to store, or allows around 65,535 characters can be entered. So it also allows for rich text formatting. You can hit tab again in order to move ahead, and you will see that there's a field for attachments. This allows you to store data, store more documents like Word files or Excel spreadsheets. So this will be a good place to save your contracts, copies of purchase orders, etc. There are other data types as well which are not, shown over here. Now look at the data type. We have date and time, we have currency, we have yes, no, OLE object, hyperlink, attachment. Some of them we have seen, some of them we'll see later on. But now there's something which I want to show you which is interesting. These two fields over here are calculated fields, the contact name and file as. These both are calculated fields, and let's type in some data so that I can show you how it works actually. We need the first name, or we'll put in the company name. The company name is, say, let's say it's Bees Beverages. Okay, and the last name of the person is, say, Albert, and his first name is John. Okay, there are other pieces of information which you need to fill out, but just to show you one thing over here, see, as soon as you come over here, the contact name is John Albert, his first name, last name, and file as is Albert John. Okay, so this is like just a little bit of information, and normally I would go ahead and fill in the rest of the information, but I'm not going to do it now. So those who are not going to be useful for me, these are not going to be very useful for me in the database, so I want to delete them. But before I delete them, I would like to use it for future use. I don't want it now, but future I might need it. So we'll go ahead and save this table or as a application part for future use. So let's go to this backstage view and click on this red file button and click on save and publish, and choose this template. Once it's orange, you can click on save as, and you'll have to fill out this form. First you need to write what name you want to give. So you can give the name customers Genos. Okay, and if you want, you can type in the description. It gives you an opportunity here also to put in a category. We are going to keep it as user templates. If you'd like to associate your own icon with your application part, you can put an icon right here. These right now are grayed out. You cannot put in data, so you have to put a check mark over here on application part so that it shows up your application parts menu. And once you do that, you will see that the primary table is now lights up. Okay, now the table that you can select over here is the only one, that is customers. If you want, you can include the data in template, but we are going to keep it blank, and click on OK. Now it says that your template has been successfully saved, and you click OK. Now if you go to the create tab under the application part, you can see this is your template customers Genos which you just created. Okay, now we can close this, and if you want to delete these fields, you can click on the contact name and just hit delete, and it will ask whether you want to delete it, and you say yes. We have made quite a lot of changes on this table, so if you want, you can just save it. So here we have the option to save. So once you click on that, it will be saved. And now what you have learned is to create a table using application parts and some of the field properties on the table tools ribbon.